Welcome back to A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast. I'm your host, Cody Depius. That is Sam Douglas. It is Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. I should probably go back and check to see what the first episode of A Little Bit of Cheese was, because if we haven't hit a year, we are about to hit a year on that, because Packers preseason is on the way. The Brewers are in the full swing, just building us up until they inevitably break our hearts. But the Brewers right now have won 7 of their last 8. They had a trade deadline last week. We got some Packers news, a lot to cover. I got maybe a cheese grater that might stump you, Sam. I don't know if it will. We'll see. I'm trying to get into the trivia sense like you do that because it's fun. You're really good at it, so I'm going to take my baby steps into that today. But first off, how's Sam doing over there?
We're doing good. I'm actively in a fantasy football draft. It is a 20-man, 25 roster spot, hour-long per pick fantasy draft. So it's not a pressure. So we got an hour per pick. I think we're on day 3 of the draft right now.
Oh my goodness.
So
do you have to set an alarm for 3 a.m. just to make sure that...
We pause it at night, so I think we paused last night around 11:30. But it is a brutal. It's a dynasty, so get it right. I just picked up Jalen Lane, a 4th-round rookie for Washington, who I'm pretty stoked about for about 4 years from now.
Not in my book, yeah, not in my book. But that sounds fun. I think it'd be even better if you didn't shut it off at night, where you're almost forcing everybody to stay awake. I mean, I don't know what everybody's work situation looks like, but that could be almost a fantasy punishment before the fantasy season even happens. I don't know. Maybe something to bring up to the commissioner for next year. But we'll go back to Major League Baseball. We'll go back to Milwaukee. As I said, the Brewers have won 7 of 8. They won yesterday 3-1 over Atlanta. They had 3 hits all game, but it doesn't matter because Quinn Priester has now won 12. Well, the Brewers have won 12 straight Quinn Priester starts. The last time that they have lost a Priester start was late May. Where were we late May? I don't even think I was living where I'm living right now. I've moved then. I've been touring houses. My wife has moved. She's got a new job. That's the entire period of time since the Brewers have lost a Quinn Priester start. And I know it's an easy question, but how much does Quinn Priester and that acquisition mean to this team? And do you kind of count that into your trade deadline from last week? Because I know a lot of people were frustrated about it, but to bring it into perspective, Priester was traded for earlier this year.
That's something that Matt Arnold and Murph have talked about a couple times. They said, hey, we've been doing the deadline all year long. If at the deadline the Brewers picked up Quinn Priester and Andrew Vaughn, it's like some of these, and Caleb Durbin and some of these major players, we would consider that an awesome deadline. But just the fact that we did it months ago means we had a bad deadline. I don't really follow that. And they answered the call to needing a bat by putting up 56 hits over 3 games and absolutely torching the Nationals with what felt like their B team out there. Sal was not playing. Turang took a day off. Churio wasn't playing. And we're rolling out guys that just got in the lineup. But to get back to Priester, he's been absolutely huge. And he, I think, is officially into the territory where I trust him in a playoff game. I think he's fine to roll out. We have 4 guys. I was really, really stoked about having that 3-headed horse, between Freddie, Woody, and Miz. We have another guy. Priester is a dog. He is built like that. He gave up a first pitch home run to Profar yesterday, and then continues to go 7 more innings, keeping the pitch count really, really good. Mm-hmm. And the location on his stuff is just awesome. He's not a 5-pitch type of guy. He's primarily just fastball changeup, and it's working for him, man. I think he's won 10 straight. He's had 10 straight wins, which ties a franchise record. and he's a rookie. He's got to be in the running for Rookie of the Year. I mean, the Brewers probably have 3 of the top 3 Rookie of the Year candidates right now.
Priester, he lost his rookie status last year.
Oh, did he?
Pitching for Pittsburgh, but he's pitched enough in the bigs, yeah. But a young player in his first full season in major leagues, and the Rookie of the Year might be Isaac Collins, who had that home run. It's incredible. Chad Patrick, who was 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting, or I think Vegas odds had him at third. He's in AAA, and I don't know if he's going to come up anytime soon. Actually, I hope he doesn't, because if he does, that means that someone really, really shat the bed or somebody got hurt. And Logan Henderson has made his way back up to the team. He has an ERA of, I think, 178 in his first 5 starts in the big leagues. He didn't get through the 5th last time, but that's not what they asked him to do. He got through 4 1/3 and continues to just dazzle in that rotation like so many of these guys have this year. Actually, everybody has. I think Milwaukee has the second best starter ERA, and I got a couple of numbers on the offense that I kind of want to bring up too. In terms of batting average, they have the 3rd highest team batting average in all of baseball. The only 2 teams ahead of them are Toronto and Houston. I also wanted to look at runs. In terms of runs, they have scored the 5th most runs in all of baseball. They haven't done it with home runs, so their OPS isn't going to be up there. It's at like 12, but they continue to get on base. That's the stat I need to find here. Sorry, kind of just doing this as we go. But on base percentage, they're 3rd in all of baseball with a 329 clip. Only the Yankees and the Blue Jays are ahead of them. So offensively, this team is kind of starting to pair with what this team has done on the pitching side. And I do kind of want to take this back to that trade deadline conversation that we were having, because I even turn on radio, sports radio, and people were frustrated last week. And my question to them is, are you surprised? Was this a surprising deadline for the Milwaukee Brewers? We've said this year after year, if you're going to go, go. I think they have been going. They just aren't going in the terms that baseball fans think of going at the trade deadline. And we've talked about this so many times on the show already, but they talk about the amount of bites you get at the apple. They look at their chance of winning a World Series as increasing the amount of years that you are going to be competitive and you are going to stay in the playoffs. And to do that as a small market team, you can't trade away all your prospects, or you want to keep as many as possible. And that's how you get a roster of guys like this, where you're Frelick and you're Terang, and you have a spot for an Isaac Collins, and your developmental system is just incredible on top of all that. Is this a deadline that surprised you? Did you come out of it frustrated at all, or wishing that there was anything more done?
I think we talked about it. I mean, last time we were on the pod, we were kind of wondering what we were going to do. It might have been 2 pods ago, and I'm pretty okay with whatever we do, and I didn't think it was going to be a big swing. Whatever this Brewers did. I mentioned that clip in Miracle, and he said, "Coach, we don't want this guy. We're a family here. You know, we have the power of friendship here," and that's what the Brewers want. That's what they have. They have this camaraderie, and Blake Perkins hadn't even been playing very much yet. And you see how Murph is talking about Perk, and he says everyone in the clubhouse knows that Perk is a special guy. He's someone that Murph's going to roll out. He keeps talking about Gasser. Like, we are a fully loaded team. We aren't bad at anything. We're a bunch of average Joes that Murph loves this crew, and to shake it up would have been a mistake. And to answer the call at that deadline where they were saying we need a bat, to have the showing against the Nationals that we did. Now, given I know the Nationals are not a great baseball team, and the Brewers
not
are
really pitching this year. Yeah,
no,
hasn't been their strong suit.
But they're a professional baseball team, and the Brewers went out and took care of business. And if it wasn't for Easton McGee giving up five in the bottom of the 9th, every single one of these games would have been an absolute blowout. It already was. 56 hits over the 3 games. There was only 1 inning in that entire series where a Nationals pitcher had a perfect inning. So we had a runner on base in every single inning of that series except for 1. And that's how you answer with a bunch of average Joes, and the media said we needed a bat. It was never going to be a power guy. And check out Suarez's numbers since the deadline. He's not hitting super great in the past week or so. Not to knock him, great hitter, but
right. I mean, like I said that was always a possibility too. A guy like Suarez, the fact that he had such a hot first half, don't get me wrong, I would have been excited if they went and got him. But that's not what the Brewers have done. I mean, they went out and they got a Moustakas the 1 year, but Moustakas didn't have 30 home runs at the All-Star break. It's just, that's where Suarez's market was. And if you look at the prospect rankings, I know you can look, oh, Seattle only gave up their ninth and their 16th and their 27th prospects. What I want to bring to all that is different teams value different players and different prospects differently. And maybe the Brewers even tried to. I heard the Brewers were active in on that, and they just were not able to beat whatever Seattle wanted to bring out there. And I'm okay with that. And I know I said my biggest need going into it was finding that left side infielder where you could kind of get Joey Ortiz out of your everyday starting infield. That there really wasn't that guy in hindsight. Chicago went and got Willie Castro. I would have been okay with that, but he hasn't played much shortstop this year at all. Defensively is not that great of a shortstop. And he's a guy that could very easily slump in the second half and not look like he should either. And then Carlos Correa was probably the best shortstop that was traded. He had a no trade clause for everybody except for Houston. So that wasn't a possibility.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a market for it. If there would have been a guy for Milwaukee to go out there and get that I think would be a significant step above Joey Ortiz, then I'd be more frustrated. But that really wasn't the case. You went out, you got Shelby Miller, who is going to pitch probably this month yet. He had a really, really good first half with Arizona. He pitches like he's a lefty. So when people say they want that lefty out of the bullpen, Shelby Miller and what he has with this splitter dices left-handed hitters. So he's your left-hander that you went and got. He's not left-handed, but he's got the same effect as one. You bring him in. You don't give anything up. Mark Attanasio actually went out and said, we will pay part of Jordan Montgomery's contract for this year, and we'll take him on for next year, which I believe is a mutual option. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I know Montgomery will be on the roster, I think, for next year. I could be totally wrong on this, but the only thing that they're giving up is cash out of Atanasio's pocket, where they went and they picked up their reliever and could be your seventh inning guy that you've been looking for, Sam. Like they didn't give up maybe a player to be named later was the one piece that is going to be good. It's cash or player to be named later. That player is not going to be a superstar. Very rarely they ever are. So, like, they didn't give up much. You traded away Nestor Cortez and
I think that was
another young minor leaguer, and you got back Brandon Lockridge, who has already had to get stuck in the outfield because Churio's been hurt. So,
and it turns out we needed a little bit of outfield depth because he's been playing. Yeah. Churio got hurt, and Yelich isn't going to be a daily outfielder anymore.
Nope.
So turns out we needed a little bit of outfield depth. Haas wasn't doing the job. We little bit of catcher depth. Maybe that got Contreras going a little bit. Not quite the same situation. You saw how Rogers acted differently after we drafted Jordan Love. And maybe a little bit of new catcher behind Contreras got him going a little bit. And a little bit of help in the bullpen. And it wasn't any big swings. And the bats are working, man. I got a couple numbers right now. I want to talk about Andrew Vaughn. Got to talk about Andrew Vaughn a little bit. Slugging right now. Where do you think he is in MLB with his Brewers tenure? If he were the rest
probably
of
like 700.
So he's slugging 686. Aaron Judge is leading the league at 711. Second is Ohtani at 600. So as far as slugging, he's right in between Shohei and Aaron Judge. OPS, Vaughn is at 1.12. League leader is Aaron Judge at 1.16. Ohtani would be third at 0.978. So again, hitting wise, he's right between Shohei and Aaron Judge. Batting average with the Brewers, he's hitting 371. Aaron Judge is leading the league at 342. So again, he's just a better hitter than Aaron Judge. He's hit 24 RBIs and 6 homers in the 20 games with the Brewers. That's paced for 194 RBIs and almost 50 home runs in his season. So it looks like on a crew of average Joes, we do have our Shohei, our Aaron Judge, and Andrew Vaughn. It's 20 games. It's not a sample size anymore. It's unbelievable.
It's a sample size. I watched Joey Ortiz hit like 330 for a month. It can happen. But you do have to look at those numbers, and you have to look at what Andrew Vaughn has done. And what you said before, if they went and got Andrew Vaughn at the deadline and he started hitting like this, like after the deadline, we would already be calling it one of the greatest moves that they've ever made. And right now, it almost looks like it. And I am a very let's wait and continue to see this, because guys, once they have a change of scenery, they can come in, they can start they can start getting told something different in terms of hitting. Like maybe just the philosophy that Chicago used to have him hit with when he was hitting third or fourth is completely different than what Milwaukee was doing. Milwaukee has him looking a lot more patient at the plate, taking a lot more walks, and attacking that hanging curveball in a much more efficient fashion than what he did when he was in Chicago. And yes, it is just the 20 games, but I would wager a lot to say that there was not a 20 game stretch over his big league career, maybe even his minor league career, where he looked like this. Because he is your monster in the middle of the order. He is the big bat that Sam is saying, that people were saying, that I was probably saying that Milwaukee needed. And he has stepped up, and that's why this team has been so hot since he got into town. Well, one of the reasons. There's so many reasons why this team has been playing so good, but Andrew Vaughn is probably one of the top five. And that's just a testament to show how well-rounded this team has been playing, how good he has been. And it's something you just hope continues. Andrew Vaughn is forever going to be remembered. Like, we'll never forget this stretch.
It
but
feels
you just hope that
Linsanity to me. It feels like Linsanity a little. I was thinking this the other day.
Yes. Andrew Vaughn is having his own Linsanity run, but you hope it's not just a Linsanity run. You hope that this is something that makes Ignacio say, we got to tender this guy and we have to bring him back next year. Because I don't think he's contracted. They have arbitration, I believe, they can go into. I'm going to be honest, I got to look into MLB contracts. I have no idea how that stuff works yet. But if he continues to do this, Milwaukee's going to have to find a way to try to get him back in town, because he's been one of those guys that has put the offense on his shoulders and put the team on his shoulders. And I do want to add one more little point to Danny Jansen coming into town. He does have that power bat that you were looking for, whether it be off the bench. He had his 11 home runs in the first half. He was really showing that power. Don't get me wrong, it was that minor league stadium that Tampa Bay was playing in that he was hitting in, but Jansen is one of those pull it and send it in the air kind of guys, and that's something that's going to play well if he can continue to do that in Milwaukee. So his team continues to shape out. Jackson Chourio, it was stated today he's going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. He is reacting well to the treatment that he's getting, but he did pull that hamstring, and you want to be very cautious, very conservative with that. And I do want to talk about Jacob Mizorowski, as he was put on the 15-day IL. He was hit by that comebacker by Seiya Suzuki, but we didn't hear really about the injury until the day that he was starting. Do you think this was one of those legitimate IL stints, or do you think it was a phantom one to try to limit his innings?
No, we are limiting his innings. We are keeping him hot. It is a shin contusion, and they retroacted the IL back to when he was hit, I think July 31st. So they even pushed it back a couple days. So it was like, 15 days starting 5 days ago is when he landed there. And it gave Logan Henderson an opportunity to get a start. And that's the day that Henderson came up. And it's Murph talked about this. We didn't need Uribe or McGill for like 4 games in a row. And he came out, he's like, all right, well, we got to get these arms going at some point. Same thing with Logan Henderson. Gave him some big league motion that he hasn't had in a little bit. I heard once, I didn't confirm this like on multiple. I think his parents drove him to the game. I think they drove him about 4 hours to the game because he wasn't with the team. So his parents, who was in Connecticut, drove him 4 hours to get up there.
Hey.
Down there to DC, which is awesome. And he pitched a great game. And that's the Brewers ball, man. We're saving Miz. We got a big arm in the tank. I think his shin is just going to be fine. And even if it's not, even if it is like an injury, I'm fine. 15-day DL. It's not an arm issue for Miz. Like, put your leg up, put on Rice, turn it off and back on. don't need you for a little bit. Get him a start or two. He didn't need a whole lot of big league reps to get his feet going. His first 6 innings were quite fantastic in the majors. So it's not like he's going to need 3, 4 starts before playoff ball goes. Now, a handful of innings would be good if he is still, if we are really watching some inning counts on him. But I think Miz is just fine. And it gave Henderson an opportunity to get up in the bigs, which was awesome to see.
Yeah, in all honesty, that comebacker from Suzuki ended up being perfect for this, where it gives Miz an opportunity to limit those innings, and you get Henderson back out on the mound, because in all honesty, he's earned it. In all honesty, Chad Patrick has earned it. Tobias Myers isn't getting better down in AAA either. He needs big league innings too, and it kind of sucks for those guys that are sitting down there, but Milwaukee, of course, is always going to be the beneficiary of that depth, and they're a beneficiary in the sense where they can sit Mizorowski down and not be worried about having a rough stretch every fifth day, because they have someone who's just going to fill those shoes to a similar extent. And it's been incredible. One of the bigger storylines in the past week that I think maybe one of Bree's favorite storylines since we've had the pod has, of course, been the pocket pancakes. If you haven't checked out the pocket pancake video, I'm sure you already have. Just look it up. But Pat Murphy, they had the game on Apple TV, and they were interviewing him on the field, and he brought out a pancake from his pocket, and he says he just puts in there whatever fits. Sometimes it's pizza, sometimes it's pancakes. Apparently he gets them from the hotel. But Sam, your name today is Pocket Pancakes. What do the Pocket Pancakes do for you, and how do we make money on this? Because there's got to be some sort of trademark that we can go out and capitalize.
I need to see some pocket Gouda out here, Murph. I want to see curds coming out of the pocket. What is that? Oh, it's a little bit of cheese. That's what that's is.
Right. Yeah.
We need to get a little bit of cheese in Murph's pocket, man. This guy's electric, dude. He's something else. Did you see the post? There's a post game interview with him as well, and he's sitting in his office, and it's like a Zoom interview, and the woman's asking questions. It's about a 4-minute bit. Guy's just electric. Should be a heavy favorite to be manager of the year. It's hard to see a world unless there's a total collapse where he's not back-to-back manager of the year. And I think there's a little bit. There's something to be said. I think am I back?
Yeah, you tuned out for a little bit, but you're back now.
Oh, it's good to be back. I think the Murph success is going to have a ripple effect in baseball with a little bit more college coaches coming up. This guy's fun. He's fun, and the players love him. They love to play for him. He goes out when a player's injured, makes fun of him a little bit. Everyone's laughing. He's pulling pancakes out of his pocket. He's just a fun guy. I think a lot more college coaches. I think that energy.
We're losing you again.
But God, it's good team. Cody, you're disappearing on me now.
You're back. You're back again. But I think we get the point. It's all in fun. I would have not expected for a pocket to come. Well, for a pocket to come with a pancake for anybody. I don't know if I would trust that personally. With the lint in there, he had like a windbreaker on, I think it was, where it's not like lint inside the pocket. Maybe it's just the windbreaker material, and that's where he's okay with that. But I think there's something that we got to start selling here with these pocket pancakes, because they kind of blew up in the baseball community, as they definitely should have. I mean,
they should.
He could have played on the Charlie Barron's pocket jerky. I think the pocket jerky is also a great move. I'll say I've been there. Pocket jerky, I've been there. Pocket curds, no. Can't say I have. Pocket pancakes, I think that one might need to wait. But
I might be both frozen. Nope. Back in my swimming days, I would have pocket waffles. I'd bring a little frozen waffle. Yeah, I'd keep them in my athletic shorts.
For sure.
Just a little bit of carbs, baby. That's it.
See, when I say that I'm judging about the pocket food, I am a kid who in college, which I don't know if you figured this secret out in lacrosse. I mean, you spent some years there, but the Little Caesars, every 9 o'clock, whenever they closed, they'd take their hot and ready pizzas, they'd throw them in the box. They would close the box and set them on the top of the dumpster.
Oh, no. Clip that, chat, clip that.
This is something that actually started in my Bible study when I was in the dorm rooms, and it very quickly made its way from the Bible study to the college parties that I definitely was of age being at. And I don't know. So I guess I can't be one to judge about a little bit of pocket pizza, pocket pancakes. Because, I mean, dumpster pizza, you just got to throw it in the oven for like 10 minutes at like a quick broil. Like any bacteria that could have accumulated, it's gone. We've done worse. I mean, maybe you guys haven't, but I think Sam and I can safely say that we have at some point. All right,
Confidently.
switch gears over to Green Bay as training camp continues. Nate Hobbs got knee surgery today. They scoped him out, so they had some stuff floating in there. This is it's a very minor surgery. They say he's going to be out for about 3 weeks, but could be back for regular season. They have him starting across from Keyshawn Nixon in the cornerback room. They just signed Corey Ballantyne as well. Actually saw Kalen King get an interception in the Packers family night last week. How comfortable are you feeling so far with this cornerback room, like even with Nate Hobbs getting hurt here?
It's fine, but it doesn't have much depth. I
Yeah.
mean, I love McKinney, Bullard, and Williams, and I'm still a
Hmm.
little bit a fan of Valentine. I think he's good. I think he's a dog. I know he hasn't proven it ever or even close by any means, but and Nixon is an athlete, and like, what are we doing with Bo Melton? So there's really not a lot of depth, but if we're not a team that's going to line up in man coverage all game long and we're going to have that kind of shell of a zone led by two dogs of safeties,
Hmm.
I think that there's a style where this makes sense. Jam the boxes. We don't have dogs up front. Put some quality defenders back there. We're not running man coverage where they can just target Bo Melton 10 times a game. And I think, if they do start to do that, we'd make an adjustment. So yet to be seen, but we do have some young speed back there, and I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt until I'm proven wrong.
Right. And I agree there. There's just not a lot of depth. I think a lot of this is going to fall back on if you can build a pass rush or not. Like if these guys have to sit and cover for a long period of time, I don't see there being success. And I think the same can be said for most NFL defensive secondaries. So I think that's where it starts. You hope these guys can fill in. The reports on Bo Melton, actually, I've heard are very positive and like kind of a surprise so far, which we'll wait until we see it in preseason. That's probably what I'm most excited for. Coming up this Saturday is Green Bay is going to be at home against the Jets for preseason. I mean, Melton, he's sitting in practice right now. He knows the offense like the back of his hand. He knows what every receiver is doing on every play. Yeah, he can fake it and make it look like he could be an NFL cornerback, but we'll see for sure this, well, as much as for sure we can see during the preseason. We'll get our first look at Melton at cornerback. I'm kind of excited. We know he's an athlete, and we know he probably wasn't going to be able to do anything on the offensive side of the ball. He has that roster spot already. See if he can use that athleticism, and maybe he's just a special teamer that can make a couple of impact plays this year, and we'll see how that works. What are you most excited for this preseason game on Saturday?
Football, baby, dude. I just want to see the green and gold hit the field in Lambeau, dude. It's
All
it's
right.
it's it's gonna be good stuff. Just seeing some of the fresh legs. I like seeing the second year guys that start to feel like vets. That start to feel like a leader. We're gonna see Adrian Cooper probably, hopefully, not play a snap because now he's one
Yeah.
of our guys. I like seeing those second year players that have been decisively now they're leaders on the team. So
Mhm.
that's kind of something I'm really excited to see. And dude, Packers are back. It's coming. Football season's
That's
here.
right. That's right. I'll let you kick
There's
us off
awesome,
with some
awesome
Gouda
Jordan.
and Grader if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, yeah. Awesome Jordan Love article came out recently. Did you read the Jordan Love article?
I did not. You might need to send it to me. Is there a
Yeah,
paywall? Because I don't
really
spend
good
money
stuff.
anymore.
No, no, Players Tribune. He talked about how he grew up and he wanted to quit football after the loss of
Mm,
his father when he was 14, and
yeah.
and the bridge between coming to the Packers and how there was a narrative about him before he even came because of the Aaron Rodgers situation, but Rodgers was nothing but good to him. And it's just a really good article written by Jordan Love. So there's a piece of Gouda. If you haven't checked it out, check out Players Tribune Jordan Love article. Really good stuff. Talks about his family, talks about his mom, talks about his dad, talks about his relationship with Aaron Rodgers, and that's just good stuff that you want to see from quarterback one coming into his sixth year. He's no longer a rookie; he is the leader of the Green Bay Packers.
All right. Some bedside reading for all of you cheesers out there.
Speaking of football, uh, not as good, but still a good question. Which NFL team has the most Hall of Famers?
That's the Green Bay Packers,
It's not,
the Chicago Bears.
and the Packers are second.
Yeah, that feels that it's a bureaucracy, man. I don't trust anything. I mean, yeah, how do the Bears have more Hall of Famers? Like, I don't know. I don't get that personally.
I think so. In the '80s, when they had a good defense, they just said, "You know what? All 11 of you get to
Inducted
go to the Hall of
everybody.
Fame." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but there's been so many players that have just come through Green Bay, and really they weren't Hall of Famers in Green Bay. Like I think about Julius Peppers, for instance, is one of those guys. He made a stop there. Green Bay's got quite a few of those, but then you also have the most world championships of any NFL franchise. It just the math doesn't really add up that Chicago has more. I knew they were 1-2, and I know it's probably going to flip flop soon. Hopefully, I mean you would think so with some recent success for one team and the lack thereof for another. But I mean it's a bureaucracy. I trust nothing. We'll get the tinfoil hats out. What would be the most painful way for the Milwaukee Brewers season to end
God,
this year?
don't do this to me, Cody. Don't do this to me, Cody. Um, as I'm wearing a Bucks shirt, it would have to be injuries, dude. It would have to be injuries. You know, seeing the guys put this together and then not even have like an honest shot. Like, if Churio doesn't get a chance to get a clutch hit, you know, if Yelly tweaks his bat, you know, and I think we'll cut it there as far as
That's
the
fair.
answer to the
Yeah,
question.
you can just stop now.
Um, let's stay let's stay a little bit depressing here. Which Brewer has the most games played this year?
Brewer with the most games played. It would be Joey Ortiz. Yeah. He hasn't been
Our
hurt.
only He's our only player. And here's a fun little stat for you. Everybody on this Brewers team that's played more than 60 games, other than Joey Ortiz, has an OPS between 722 and 801. Nobody's
Wow.
really bad. Nobody's really good. Or a bunch of average Joes. Joey-O is at about 598, I want to say. He's the only one outside of that range, but
Yeah.
everybody else on the Brewers is right in one small range, except the player that has played the most games for us.
Hey, I know I've been saying that Joey is the biggest hole on this team. I mean, he has, but I am still rooting for him at every step. I hope that this trade deadline and what the front office showed is Joey is going to be our guy. And I hope that Joey picks up that confidence and he can get hot as a rocket going in the playoffs. And maybe he can have a couple of those big hits when it comes into it. Because, I mean, the defense, I'm good with. I'm good with what he's doing there. I just needed a little bit more offensively. And maybe that can come with the front office going and saying, hey, Joey, you're our shortstop. If we're going to the World Series and winning this thing, you're going to be the guy standing out there on the field when they hoist it. So I'm as hopeful as much, but not the guy you want playing the most games of your entire roster. I will just say it to that little bit of a cheese grater there. So this one I think you should have, but who are the top 3 points per game leaders in Milwaukee Bucks history?
Bucks history. So Giannis has to be up there. So I bet Kareem is one.
Yep.
Because he's dominant over a short amount of time, and Giannis did take a couple years to get there. But I bet Giannis is two, just because of the he's not number two. Is Giannis,
Giannis
number
is
three?
number 3.
Okay, so Giannis is number three. Um, I'm gonna go with Michael Redd.
You would be incorrect. The number
Give me
2,
Sidney Moncrief. Give me Glenn Robinson. Give me Glenn Robinson.
It's a lot closer than you think.
How many years did he play with the Bucks for?
2.
He only played with the Bucks for 2 years, and we're
yeah, it counts.
Okay, give me Dame. It's Dame then.
It's Damian Lillard. Yeah.
All right.
There, I got you one. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I just clicked on it to see what would count and what would qualify. This is on Basketball Reference, which I think is as official as you can get, but goes Kareem, Damian Lillard, and Giannis. Those are your all-time points per game leaders in Bucks history.
We'll take it. It's a little dicey when you're doing something like that because Giannis is weighted back because he took 4 years with the Bucks to get really good. And same thing, with a Chris Middleton or somebody like that. They weren't coming out like Kareem scoring 28 a game. Let's talk a little Brewers here. We got a couple guys that aren't playing right now. Which of these 3 do you see making the biggest impact for the Brewers? And if it's as a trade bait, that's totally fine. Between Garrett Mitchell, Tyler Black, and Logan Henderson, which of these 3 do you think is going to make the biggest splash for the Brewers?
So Garrett Mitchell is going to be so cheap that I think he ends up back in Milwaukee if they feel like there's enough room in that outfield. That being said, I don't know if they're going to view it that way. I think they're going to like the guys that they have already, but I also think they love the heck out of Garrett Mitchell. But the guy he's not healthy, so I can't pick him. Tyler Black, I can't pick him because the Milwaukee Brewers hate him. They cannot. They've never liked Tyler Black, which is fine. I mean, he's going to be an above average hitter. That's not going to value anything for your defensively, and there's not going to be any power out of that bat. So I get it. And that leads me to the process of elimination, which I think is who I'd go with anyway. It's Logan Henderson. Logan Henderson is a good major league pitcher. He is bringing you value right now. He's going to bring you value down the stretch here. I hope that they don't trade him. I hope that they're able to go and sign Brandon Woodruff next year and bring everybody back, but that's not the case. There's going to be an open spot, and that open spot is going to belong to Logan Henderson. He's going to be the guy. They rely on him a lot right now. They love him. If anybody's going to get traded, I think it's probably your Chad Patrick, which there's probably value there that you could get back.
That'll be value. I think that I'd probably agree with you on, like, if we're being honest, I'm a Garrett Mitchell fan, though. I think there's such a high ceiling for him, and he just hasn't had the opportunity. But like the small bits we've seen have been so much to get excited about, but just hasn't been much.
I agree. It's just the thing for me is it's something different every time. And there are just some athletes that they can't put it together because something is hurt. And it's not his fault. It's just the way that the cookie crumbles sometime. And right now, Mitchell I've been saying it the last 3 years, I can't wait for a healthy Garrett Mitchell year. And we're probably going to say it again next year. But until I see it, I can't say it. There's value there, and I don't think other teams are going to see it as well. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. We got Packers, we got Brewers, we got a bunch of fun. We'll talk to you about it next week on A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast.